Let's work. Yo, it's go time, showtime, never backing down time. One shot, yo, make it count, yo. Crunch time, shine time, make this moment my time. Get a grip, yo. Ready, set.
All right, guys, welcome to the Off the Bench podcast. We have new agent Jesse Stamm here today. What's up, buddy?
Man, how you doing, Frank?
Oh, fantastic. How are you?
Very good. It's a nice, bright, sunny day in Florida.
There you go. I wish I was in Florida. So, Jesse, I've known you for how long? 25 years?
I think it's longer than that now.
Probably.
Yeah, long time. Long time.
Been a long time. So, and how long, you've known what Jamie and I do for how long? I mean, how long have you known what we do?
In detail, probably I knew really clearly when you got your integrity deal. Then it kind of started I think Ange mentioned how great you were doing, something like that. And then
Right.
I kind of knew. I knew you were in mortgages, and I knew you had jumped to insurance, but I didn't know a lot of detail about it.
Yeah, that's how bad I am at warm market recruiting. Because you have been in sales your entire life. I mean, you were probably 18 when I met you, right?
Wow.
Because you worked with my sister.
Oh no, I started working with your sister when I was I think I was 14.
Oh, Jesus. So I've known you a lot longer than that. We're old as hell.
Right? I'm feeling
so,
it.
so, and you sold there. You
Yep.
sold health club memberships or gym memberships.
Yep.
And then that was for 10 years probably. Yeah.
10 years. And along the way I had dabbled with things, but that was my main gig.
Okay. And then when you left selling gym memberships, where'd you go?
I went to a Smythe, actually in Maryland, a jewelry store,
Yeah.
jewelry store the size of a grocery store. So, over $100 million in sales type store. So really, really big. Started there.
Okay. Okay. And after Smythe, how long were you at Smythe?
I was at Smythe for 3 or 4 years, and then I got recruited into a direct selling company. So I had done direct sales myself, network marketing on in the field, sold a couple of different products, and then
Right.
just based on my skill set and kind of what I was doing at Smythe, I got recruited to work on the corporate side of a direct sales company that was going through some hard times, and they needed specific things to help grow their field.
Okay. And then you've been in that field for the last, 20 years?
Yeah, I mean, since then.
Yeah.
So it's been at least 15 years, at least 15
Okay.
years.
So 15 years. And you were making pretty good income at the
Yeah.
company you were at, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So
Yeah, no, I definitely was in a corporate. I mean, I wouldn't say I was, heart surgeon money, but I definitely was at a very comfortable place. I think comfortable is the key word. I was at
yeah.
a very, very comfortable place income wise. And, I mean, we have everything we, could want, go on vacations, all the things, corporate job, bonuses, that corporate life.
Yeah, no doubt. And so because I remember Ange, my sister, who is your best friend, um, said Jesse might be interested in working with you. I said, okay. I said, and then we flew down to Florida.
Mhm.
Um, now, and then I remember talking to you, and I'm like, because Eric Schmidt was in a similar situation. He was a corporate American. He was making a couple $100,000 a year, selling cars, and I was like, okay. And I always thought, I like that because I don't really care much about many things. Don't bother me. So when Eric walked away, people were like, he's crazy. I go like, that's awesome. I like that. And so when you were thinking about it, I'm like, okay, well, this guy did it. And he's not, I've talked to Eric. I like Eric, but he's not special. You've got a lot of skill sets that most people don't have, which is very similar to what Eric had just because he did it for so long. And I knew it would work. And then you messed around part-time with us when did you start? Like October?
Yeah, I think I got my license in September, but didn't even get on the phones till October, and that's when I jumped on and started calling, but just really very part time dabbling
Yeah.
and not, focused on it.
Sure, because I mean, your other job was pretty demanding,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, and that was understandable. So then you were teetering like coming to work with us full time, and then they decided to shut their company down, right? Is that what happened?
Yeah, so it was a kind of an odd, strange course of events. Basically, when things started getting a little challenging in the economy, the company that I worked for is a major foreign brand, and they own a lot of different companies, and they wanted to start a direct selling channel. So I basically was opening a startup, but for a multi-billion-dollar company. So in my
Right.
mind, it was like a done deal. I'm like a startup but with huge funding. And the economy takes a shift and they decide, because it's their prerogative, that instead of their new projects for that they're working on to eventually really get big, they're just going to focus on all of their gigantic parts of their business. So they shut down lots of little projects they were working on. And so I was
Right.
one of those little projects, and we were having month over month, typically double digit growth every single month, which usually businesses have seasonality, but even we were over Christmas that in January we were bigger than December. So we were doing
Right.
well, but in the scheme of things, we were just a small piece in their puzzle and they wanted to
Right.
focus on big stuff. So I had heard that, well, it's going to be coming to an end probably. And they kind of left me dangling out there for a few months. And
Right.
that's when I started thinking, wait a minute, my future and my life is being dangled.
Right.
Might not have a job, but I might. And that's when it started to, I already always knew that your corporate reality, even though you think it's safe and that's what you've been conditioned your whole life to think, corporate reality, 401k, work to 65, retire, that
Right.
that was a certain type of security. But I had already been thinking there's no security in that. That's not secure. You can leave at any minute. They can let you go. There could be a layoff. You could get a new boss that's, you can't live with. So
Right.
really in control. So
Yeah.
it's an illusion.
Yeah, it is. And that's, and again, I ain't knocking people that do that. It's just it's not for everybody. And I think honestly, everything happens for a reason. I think that's probably the best thing that could have happened to you because you could have in fact you did get other job offers,
Yes.
right? While you were kind of wrapping that thing up and then still debating, I think, on should I do Family First Life full time or should I go get another job? But I think that kind of helped you realize that, you know what, it doesn't matter if I get another job. They can take that away from me as easy as this one's being taken away, which is good because we're excited. I was hoping that's going to happen. And we don't tell people what to do. We tell you what you can do and hope that you make the decision that's best for your family. But I thought this would be best for you and your family. So let's fast forward. When did you start full time with us? When was your last day at the other company?
The last day at the other company was the middle of February.
Middle of February.
Middle of
Okay,
February.
so February. So now we got March, April. We're halfway through May. And so let's just talk about April,
Mhm,
right? You had planned a vacation with your kids
mhm.
before you even thought about coming to work here at Family First Life,
Right.
right? Now, if I didn't know you, I probably would have told you to cancel your vacation. But since I know your wife and your kids, and I wouldn't have done, I can't do that, even
Yeah.
though I might have should have. But anyway, it worked out. So April 8th, right, is when you got back from vacation and
April 8th.
started working.
Yep.
April 8th. Okay, April 8th to May 8th, which was just last Friday, I think. Or it's not even. Today's May 5th.
Yeah. I'm just going
Yeah,
along with it. I'm like not even.
today's Cinco de Mayo, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Why are we here? We should be having some margaritas and chips or something.
Something like that. Um, you helped well over 101 families,
Yep.
right? And if you ought to, so like the FTC, it prevents us from talking about money because I don't know, people don't want to work and then they blame us for their failures, which is
Right.
typical in the country right now. But the way we get paid is premium. Okay, the average premium on a deal on a family protected is $1,000 a year. That's how our structure is. That's the average nationally. So if we say 100 families, you could do the math yourself, right? So rewind February. You went to conference, right? That was awesome.
That was great. And
Okay.
I went to conference. I went to conference. I was still at the other job, so I, stepped away for a few days. Which obviously, what are they going to say? That I'm about to leave. So it
Right.
was fine.
So did you think leaving out of conference, I know everybody's excited when they leave conference. Did you ever in a million years think that you could help 100 families in really a 3.5 week span?
Um, I'm not one to think I can't do something.
Sure.
I'm one to say like, I can do anything, but
Right.
I also would say that mindset is the absolute key. And so when I left conference, I had this when you say to yourself, when you lie to yourself and you're like you're gonna do it, like you're gonna start that diet on Monday, you're gonna
Right.
go to the gym on January 1st. It felt a little bit like that, but I saw it in myself. I kind of recognized it. I'm like, I had this, I'm gonna go really do it, because I had this kind of this nervousness. I don't know what it was, but my head was not on, it was not on right. And
Yeah.
I just kind of saw something in myself or saw a person. I'm like, this is not familiar to me. Um, and that was kind of concerning, but I had this just feeling and knowledge and just clarity that this was the right thing for me. Like I
Yeah.
was so clear. So leaving conference, it was, okay, what I heard is there's a lot of people who sucked in the beginning, who are really good now
Yeah.
and done really great things. And they all keep saying, just stick around, don't give up. And so I'm gonna go along with that. I'm gonna just keep sticking around. I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna stay, in it. And I don't know when, but it's going to be soon, and I'm going to get it. And I just had that, idea that I'm not quitting no matter what. If I, no matter what, I'm not freaking giving up.
Yeah. Well, and dude, that is the key. And it's like, but the challenge is the mindset. When people start to, sometimes that's easier said than done. Just don't quit. Okay, you're not the one that's behind on your mortgage, or your mortgage is due and you don't have any money in your account. And you got your wife is going, where's the money? And you got kids that want to do things because kids want to do things. So I get it's easier said than done. Um, but I feel like it's something that's so worth, if you just do it. I mean, literally, if you just do that, those times that were uncomfortable like that, you look back and you go like, dude, that was stupid. Like, first of all, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was.
Right.
It's never as good as you think it is, it's never as bad as you think it is, right?
Right.
But you started to figure it out, and now you've got, and I could tell, like, I would sense that you were questioning this. And is that a safe statement? You were questioning it.
I was more questioning myself and questioning, and this is where it started to get, I guess I started to kind of smack myself around a little bit, because I was questioning whether I could.
Sure.
And that was a little bit unfamiliar for me, because I've just always had an idea that I can, do whatever it is that's in front of me. I can do it. I might not be great at the beginning, but I'm going to do it. And I started to think, well, can I do this? And then it started to turn into and do I want to do this? I'm like, wait a minute.
Right.
You told yourself you want to do it. So now you're totally BSing yourself, saying that this is, can I do it? And then now, do you want to do it? Yes, you've already told yourself you want to do it. For your entire life for over 40 years, you told yourself you can do anything. So what's different now?
Right.
For me, it was, I was uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable, and I'd become complacent in my previous life. I had become complacent that I could walk into a corporate, job with the same job title, and I wasn't doing big stretches. I was doing the thing I do, and I was good at it. And so
Right.
it wasn't really a challenge. And I got complacent with uh, work and working, that it's just everything's plug and play. You know exactly what it is. You know the script. You know how to do it. You know, stand here, look here, say these words, present this presentation, do this thing, make a
Yeah.
marketing plan. It just, you know, it just was what I did. And this was not like, this was a whole new way. It was me doing the work versus having, you know, a team, you know. So instead of having, you know, at not my last company, but my previous company, I had, you know, well over 30 people that reported to me. My previous company, I had 150 people that reported up through me. And this was like, now it's you. It's you in a room by yourself, figure it out. And I was kind of questioning things, and that was uncomfortable. I was very uncomfortable with that.
Yeah. Well, and that's good though.
Yeah.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, that's as good as it gets because, and I'm glad, you know, when like you and Nick are in the middle of a competition, right? For who's going to have to jump off the next roof into the pool. Um,
I don't know if
and
that was
it's,
like the bet. I think other people were jumping, but you know, we'll see.
well, if you keep going at this pace, it ain't going to be you anyway. Um, and like he's got a really good mindset. You and Nick have talked. He's very positive guy. He believes the same thing that you like. I can do anything I put my mind to. And I like when people have struggles when they're new because it really it first of all it humbles you, and that's needed in most careers is to be not humiliated but humbled. Um, he called me last week and he's like, dude, I had such a bad week. I ran 40, set 40 appointments and sat with 3 people, and I started laughing. And he's like, why are you laughing? I'm like, dude, because this is good. Because you started getting to the point where you were just coasting and you're like, oh, this is so easy and you got this. And you weren't doing it in an arrogant way, but I don't, you always have to have that little bit of sense of fear of loss and can something change that keeps you sharp and it keeps you moving, right?
Yeah, and
So,
yeah,
go
I
ahead.
agree.
Yeah. So when you started to turn that corner, what do you think it was? I mean, you didn't stop the activity. You kept you always plug in, which I think is one of the biggest reasons why it's starting to work for you. You reach out to people. And that's funny. I hired a guy yesterday, recruited a guy yesterday. Dude, he's called me 7 times already.
Hmm.
And I'm like, he'll make it because he's bugging the living daylights out of me. And I love it because that's his job as a new agent. But you don't just call me. You call Jamie. You call Mike. You call Josh. You call whoever. Nick. You call anybody. Corinne, Kali. I'm sure you reach out to all of them people at some point in time.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about that and how you, because you're probably older than most of them. You and I are about the same age. We're older than most of them. But you don't care. You're like, they have something I need. I want it. And I don't. It's hard to get people to see that because their egos are so damn big.
Yeah, and that's super weird to me. So the idea that you wouldn't reach out to someone who especially presents themselves as open to being reached out to. I mean, I guess if somebody was really kind of standoffish, maybe that would be, you know, odd to reach out. But everyone here says ad nauseum, you can reach out. I'm always willing to help. And it's kind of like everyone's MO to be helpful and help people. And something that I think came up, I don't remember where it was, but it was either something you said or one of the podcasts or something where there was this person who was really successful and had offered to help anyone. And they were asked, how many people have called you? And they said, not really anyone. And I think it
Right.
wasn't really anyone, but except for maybe Mike. And I thought to myself, Mike's been hugely successful. He's growing rapidly. He's made, you know, big strides, doing amazing things, and he will call and talk to anyone. I'm like, so I'm going to do that too. And I kind of already was, but then I
Yeah.
took it up a notch and thought, you know, if I don't know something, I'm just going to ask
Yeah.
because how else will I know it if I don't ask? So I don't have any, you know, issue asking for help. I think when people do it, you're right. It is an ego thing. It's an ego thing, or I don't want to be a problem. I don't want to be a bother, and
Right.
that's a self-worth thing. So basically, anything that'll keep you from doing what you know you need to do, or what someone who's done it is telling you to do, you've got to look in the mirror
Right.
because it's 100% you. You know, it's like every time you have a challenge Um, and every time you stumble, and every time you're defeated, or every time you have a hesitation, there's, in all those things, there's one common denominator. It's you. So if you take radical responsibility and say, everything that I have and don't have is me, it's my doing, and not necessarily fault, but it's me. I have control over that. And so I looked at this, and said, I was going to do this in April. I had put together a business plan, and certain things were falling into place almost outside of my, uh, almost feeling like my control. So I felt like, higher power, God was
Yeah.
definitely playing a part in my life. And April was the month that I was going to do 50 grand. And I had planned out that it was going to be February quit, um, March was going to be 30, and April was going to be 50, because that made sense to me.
Right.
And I heard Depot say that when he did 50, that he thought, well, if I did 50 and I thought that was the most I could do, well, why not 100?
Right.
And then all I became was fixated on 100. And the reason 50 was in my mind is because 50 is when you can save your name as an agency, and then 100 is when you can have an agency. And so in my mind it was 50, and then I'm like, wait a minute, you want to put a pin in a name? No, let's lock that thing down. So when Depot said 100, I'm like, okay, well, why not shoot for 100? So I don't know if you can see it right there. That's the flyer for an agency right there. So it's when
Yep.
I walk into my office, it's right there. I've got the vision board and everything. And I just became fixated on 100. That's like the number that was just constantly in my head, 100. And that's what I went for.
And so be it.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, and it was kind of just happening very fast, because um, it just was. But I think I wasn't holding back anymore, and I wasn't fearful, and I had this energy that was kind of like a nervous energy, because I do not know all the things. Like,
That's right.
there's a lot of stuff I have no idea about, and I'm like, in the middle of having a conversation, texting someone to the side, hoping that my fingers have muscle memory to know what I'm actually typing, because I can't look. And then I'm doing one of these. You ever done that, where you're looking at a camera
Oh
and you're
yeah.
into the side and you're like, yeah, make sure before you hit send you didn't say something weird. I mean, that's literally like functioning right now. But it's a lot better to function like that and do 101 $1,000, or 101 families, I should say, than waiting to figure it out,
Yeah,
because
no doubt.
I just know that it's going to take a long time to figure it out, and then even then there's going to be the next thing to figure out.
That's right, dude. It's constant. I mean, this is an evolving business. It's evolved. It's evolved since 2019 to today. It's night and day. Like you can't do what got you where you were at in 2019. You can't do it today. You wouldn't get anywhere. So it's like, and I love that. But it's the law of attraction. It's doing the right things on like mindset, and it attracts success, and that's so true. And people don't get that. And it's I wish they did, because a lot of times you talk about that stuff and they look at you like half cocked, like you're nuts. And it's like, but when it happens to you, you're like, holy shit, that's right. You
Right.
know what I mean? And you've learned that your whole life. And it was I don't want to say it was sad to see you go through a period where you were, doubting and doubting yourself and doubt, because everybody goes through this. It's just different. And I told you, remember I telling you this, this is a different beast than any type of sales you've ever done, bro. I promise you. This thing has broken people. Because if you think you're a great salesman, you come in here, you're probably not going to do very well.
Right.
It's just different, and it's okay. But that's why I tell people that, because I don't want them to go through that. But it's impossible for you not to. It's a part of the learning process.
Right.
So we're excited. What is your goal on the personal side, and then on the team side? Because I know you're building as well, because that's just who you are. For the end of 2023, what do you have in mind?
Yeah. So my focus now is 100 or bust. every month. That's where
Okay.
my mind is. I want to push for that. I want to go for that. And I put together kind of my daily plan of what I need, and it's definitely over the top in my head. Even I get a little nauseous thinking about the numbers and what they are. And it's I think for me, I'd rather shoot for a number that I'm excited about that and fall short and end on a number bigger than the one I was comfortable with.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm shooting for. So I'm not dwelling on kind of shortcomings. I'm looking at it as every day I'm going to push. I'm going to do what I need to do. I'm going to do what I need to do each day
Yeah.
for that number of 100 100 a month. And then if I fall a little short, I'm not going to stress about it because I know it's going to be better than it would have been.
That's
Um,
right.
and then on the team side, um, I just really want for people to be able to go through this experience and come out on the other side stronger, better, and have all the things that they want to have out of their life. And I think so many people sell themselves short all the time. And there's a saying, I don't remember who said it. It's definitely, well, I didn't make this up, but a setback is a setup for a comeback. And I
Yeah.
feel like sometimes we have setbacks in life and it really messes with your head. And sometimes it's you were in a great place and it kind of takes you down a couple pegs. And sometimes it's people have just been beat up their entire life, whether it's themselves or others. And I think that this changes has the ability and the possibility to change someone's life forever. And the cool thing is, it doesn't matter how you show up at the doorstep. It doesn't matter, how you arrive at FFL. Bottom line is that anybody can do this business. You see people on stage and they say it every year, and Mike says it and everybody says it. And it's kind of, I mean, in a way it's a slightly offensive, but not really. I mean, look at him. If he can do it,
Yeah. No doubt. But that's the goal.
right. But the real deal is you see somebody in all these different instances who is either like you, or you think you've got an edge, but they're crushing it. So if you've got this edge, why are they killing it and you're not? So that's
Right.
humbling. At all levels, it's powerful to see so many people succeeding. And so I want for my team that I want for my team to be able to and not just like the team I have now, but the people that I'll meet, the people I come across, to know that there is something that, yeah, they've tried this, they've tried that, they sold the vitamin, they did the thing, they were trying to do something to break out from that whatever they were doing as their job, and that this could be that for them. And there's no reason it can't, because if you don't have, I had a guy yesterday said, do I need to have my GED? Do I need a degree for this? And I'm like, no, you just need three things. He's like, what's that? I'm like, you need to be coachable, you need to do what you say you're going to do, and you need to work hard and grind. If you
Yeah.
do those three things, we're good. If you don't do those three things, it's like a three-legged stool. It's probably going to fall over. But if you do those three things and don't quit, you're going to be good to go.
Yeah, no doubt. Dude, I love it. And so if I wanted to, if I'm thinking about getting into this business and I want to come work with you, how would I get a hold of you?
Oh, I mean, you should hit me up on any of my social media. So it's at Jesse Stamm, JESSESTAMM, or Wealth Builders LLC.
Wealth Builders LLC. I love it, dude. So I'm excited for you. I'm really, I was getting a little nervous. I'm like, man, I hope I didn't, because dude, I've seen what this has done for so many people, but you never know, because again, it's not for everybody. Anybody can do this, but most won't, which is sad because they don't see what it can do. But I was like, man, I hope I didn't mess him up. But then you got the conference. I figured if we could just get you to conference, because that changes things. I mean,
Mhm.
it does, because I don't care, and should be offensive. Like, my whole goal is to go, dude, if I can do this, I'm all sorts of messed up. If I can do it, you can definitely do it. But you definitely see somebody that walks across that stage, you go, that guy did what? I'll never forget, Jesse, the first conference I ever went to. This guy was speaking, and I could not understand every third word that came out of his mouth. I was like, what did he say? And dude, he was making massive amounts of income. And I'm going like, dude, if this guy's making that kind of money, I'm gonna be filthy rich. That's what I thought. And I'm like, that's why I'm here today. Like, if I didn't hear that guy, because a lot of the other ones were real polished and speaking real, I'm like, oh hell, that ain't me. But I saw him, I'm like, oh, I'm good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think, Frank, you said something, and this has been said before, and we send it out every time we have a new hire, new person join the team. They get a text message. I think their first message from us is that comes out through the system, so we know every single person gets it. I then, for all my team, resend them something by text from me, and that is links to all of our accounts for everything to get plugged in.
Yeah.
And so we did it earlier in this conversation, and I know Mike has said it, so many people have said it, that getting plugged in is absolutely critical. And I think when I see people on our in our call rooms, and I see the Monday meeting, and we're all, jumping on our phone to get people to show up. And I think, we have more and more people, but you can always have more.
Yeah.
I think it might be, I don't know if it's the panacea for everything, but I think it's one of the keys is getting plugged in, because that person you saw, you wouldn't have seen if you weren't plugged in. That hearing Nick share a couple weeks ago and hear him talk and be like, I remember I used to look and sound and hear that. And now what am I doing? Because he sounds this energy that I know I used to have. So what's going on in your head, Jesse? But if I wasn't at that meeting, I wouldn't have heard that.
Right.
If I wasn't showing up, then I wouldn't hear that. I wouldn't hear in the dial rooms people say things. I'm like, oh my gosh, that was so simple. What am I making this complex for? I wouldn't hear the different things if you're not, if I wasn't plugged in. And so I think getting plugged in, if you say you're going to do this even part-time, you say you're going to do it 15, 20 hours a week. Okay. If you said you're going to do that, then it shouldn't be a problem for, 2 or 3 of those hours to be in the meeting /room /training /whatever's that you've been suggested to go to. Like, make that part of it, because, you should never be dialing alone. And you also need to come every Monday night, because if you don't, you're going to miss out on all of these things. And so plugged in, I would say, is probably, it's critical. It helps you not quit. It helps you. Kali said at one of the meetings that this stuck with me big time. She said there were, in her first 3 months, she said she wanted to quit at least 10 times. And that, to me, it was like, it gave me the okay, because I felt the same way. I had multiple, right. I'm like, am I doing the right thing? When I got another recruit call, I was like, for someone trying to recruit me back to a corporate position, I'm like, I had a little question.
Sure.
I heard that. I'm like, nope, that's just the devil on your shoulder talking to you, saying, come back to complacencyville, come back to, be a drone instead of creating your own destiny. So get plugged in, I would say, is absolutely critical.
Dude, I love it, man. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. I'm excited for you. I'm happy for you. I'm proud of you. And I know big things are coming. So let's continue to rock. We'll see you in a couple of weeks at the convention in Maryland.
Absolutely. Let's go.
All right, buddy. Thank you, Jesse. Guys, until next time, make it a big week. Love y'all. Bye.
Let's work. Yo, it's go time, showtime, never backing down time. One shot, yo, make it count, yo. Crunch time, shine time, make this moment my time. Get a grip, yo. Ready, set,